Hey guys, what's going on? I'm gonna take a little time to explain a couple of things. I'm just leaving a meeting and heading out to another meeting, so I got a little time on my hands. So, guys, I want you to get you a paper and pencil, and or you can do whatever you got to do, but I want you to write this stuff down because I just got done with a meeting with a guy, and he has some major questions, and I thought it would be a nice thing to share with you guys. So take the time and go ahead and get yourself ready for this teaching right here. This is going to be in the topic of relationships. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot of stuff within relationships. I really truly believe that within this topic that I can have you guys with me and do a Q&A with this, because this can really kick off and do a lot of help, a lot of good for you guys to understand. This is the part of the relationship. It's going to be in the dating side of it, introduction, if you will, of relationships. The very, very beginning part of relationships. You go out to the club, you go out to church, go everywhere you want to go, and then you introduce yourself, and then she introduces herself to you, and boom, there you are. That's where we're at right now. All right, in this process, from that stage, I want you to understand something that I just got done talking to my guy about, and I'm telling you, he is off the chains. He's ready to go back out there. Okay, first thing I want to talk to you about is what a woman thinks. Now, even me saying that, I do not want you to think that this is a one-off fit-all, even though what I'm about to say, it classifies all of them. Every woman Every woman is defined differently by herself. Every woman. You cannot use something that you read in a book, saw a video on, listened to some music about, and you think what you did with this woman is going to apply for the next woman. There are some things that you can laterally transfer over, but not. Look, every woman is different. However, in saying that, I need to group a classification. I need to group it up together so you can have a better understanding of the introduction aspect of it before you get into it. So when you get into it, you already understand how to design the questions for her to make sure you get the right type of woman for you. She's looking out for herself, you're looking out for yourself, and the objective is to find the right match for each other. Okay, here we go. Ready? The first thing I want you to write on the paper is future dash self. All right, let me say it again. Future dash self. This is number one in a woman. All women, every woman, if they're female, male, doesn't matter. Everybody thinks when they're a little kid, they think about their future. If they come from a lower income aspect of their lives at the time of them being growing up or however, then they're going to be thinking of a certain type of future for themselves. They can think I'm going to get it myself. They can think I'm going to go and have a partner to help me with that. They can think of numerous things. But the whole point is when you introduce yourself and when you have this first thought, I want to talk to her, before you even consider talking to her, understand you have to understand her future. It is the future of herself, not yours, hers. Herself. And you also have to have a future. So underneath future self, her, but in parentheses, her. And then if you want, you can write future self, me. Okay? All right. So the first thing is she's thinking about her future. Okay, where she comes from to where she's going. All right. Second thing, guys, I want you to write on the paper is reproduction. Reproduction dash the future of it, and then the maintainment of it. So you got reproduction, the future of it, and the maintainment of it. Okay. I want you to underline the future of it and maintainment underline that. If you wrote it all in one, that's great. If not, if it's two lines, just underline the bottom line. Underline that and write lifestyle. So when we talk about lifestyle, when it comes to a woman who thinks about her future, she's thinking it in a context of kids and the maintainment of that, with kids, without kids, it doesn't matter. It's still, there's a component in her mind. She thinks about kids and the maintainment of that with kids or without kids, but it's what we call lifestyle. Okay. When you talk to a woman, you have to put in your mind, even though she's not talking about it, you have to be a forward, objectively thinking. It's in her mind. It's somewhere deep or somewhere on top, but it's in her mind somewhere. Okay, the lifestyle. Now, you can talk about the kids. Let's talk about kids real quick. A woman who has no kids, so put one line, no kids. When you introduce yourself to her, she's going to act a certain way. She's going to live a certain lifestyle for herself. She's working towards herself, her future, and again, somewhere in her mind, she's thinking with or without kids. But at this moment of introduction, at this moment, she has no kids. She's acting a certain way. Now, guys, when a woman has one child, she's going to switch and change. And I don't care if she said that I never want to have kids. The science and the stories out there, you can look it up and research it out. They can say dramatically, I do not want to have kids in my life. They get pregnant. Someone convinces her to keep the baby. She delivers the baby. And all of a sudden, the motherhood of herself comes out. And she then becomes a mother. And that protecting stage is there for that child. Now, if she has the right type of guy at that moment, she is going to feel security. If she doesn't, she's going to worry. And then that's another component, guys, that I will talk about later in detail later. But when she has no kids, understand she's going to act a certain way. Now, one kid, if you introduce yourself and she has one child, she's going to act a certain way towards that child. Because a woman from 0 to 1, again, security versus non-security. Do I have enough? Do I not have enough? And is the man and all of that going to help me secure my future? Called the maintainment of that future. In this case, with kids. Okay. Now, when a woman has +1 kids, she's going to act a certain way. A different way. So you can do the stories, the research, and all that. A woman would tell you who has multiple kids. She will tell you that when I had one child, I was panic stricken, I was nervous, I was this, and this. And then when I had 2, I just like forget it, go out and run in the streets. Okay. So the point is, guys, when you approach the girl, if she has no kids, you have to understand somewhere in her mind she's going to think about a child somewhere in her future, with or without children, and the maintainment of that lifestyle with or without children. But I'm telling you, think on it as if she has a child. Even though she doesn't have a child, if you think about yourself and introduction with her with the child in mind, I guarantee you'll be a way better in communication of what you're saying, how to say, than everybody else who doesn't think of a woman with children. Okay. Now, in saying that, there's only 2 things I want to talk about. The general population, in fact, forget it, all women. She's going to think on herself. She's going to think of her reproduction and the future of that reproduction and the maintainment of that future with the reproduction. Okay. Understand those 2 things, guys. If you do, you are so closer to the woman's psyche than a lot of people out there who have no clue about anything. Now, I want to take this time and talk about 2 types of women. And I'm going to use the biblical Bible side. And I really want you guys to get into your apps and all of that to find and read the story. Find and read the stories. Not necessarily the biblical of the spiritual side of it, but I want you to literally read the story, as if it was a novel type story. The book of Ruth, Ruth, is one of it, and it doesn't matter the version. I don't want you to get detailed spiritually. I want you to understand the story. And then the virtuous woman. The virtuous woman is in Proverbs 31. So write those two scriptures down. Ruth, the book of Ruth, Ruth, and Proverbs 31. All right, guys, I'm going to rush this because I'm almost at my appointment. The book of Ruth talks about a mother-in-law a mother who helps her daughter-in-law because the daughter-in-law and the mother's husband died, and she strategically went to town and strategically had Ruth in the introduction, in the placement of it, and all the way through to the marriage. Strategic all the way through the whole process. That's the book of Ruth. Guys, get that book, and I guarantee you, you'll run it. Now, in doing that, when I look at strategic women, women who's out there, I classify them immediately as a trophy girl, and then I break it down from them. They have to convince me that they're not a trophy girl. Okay, if you don't know what a trophy girl is, guys, you might be a little too young to go date somebody. But just off the basis, a trophy girl to me is a woman who strategically goes after a guy for a certain purpose, and that purpose is a financial purpose, using kids and other means to get a guy and keep a guy. Okay, I'm not necessarily, well, listen, I will get into all of these details later. I just want to say Ruth is more classified as a strategic woman who's out there. Is it a good girl who can be a strategic girl? Absolutely. Is it a bad girl who can be strategic out there? Absolutely. I'm not talking about good or bad. I'm just saying that this book of Ruth is very strategic in nature, and I want you guys to read it to understand how strategic this woman is with her mother. Okay. The second book, Proverbs 31. Real guy. This is the book called The Virtuous Woman because it is the woman of all virtue, and including today, this moment, this time, it is very, let me put it the pool of selection for the virtuous woman is very small. Very, very small. You have to be a certain guy to get a woman like this. Now, let me define it real fast. I want you guys to read it and understand it and get into the book so you can. And then, guys, when you get into these books, I want you to map it out, write it out, give it a timeline, give it a story within a story. Map it out so you can see it, visually see it on paper of the stories. Ruth. She is a woman who gets up before her servants, so she has a certain lifestyle. She has servants. She gets up before her servants because that's the characteristic of the woman. She is a serving type woman. She also takes care of her husband, her children. She sends him off to work. He is very known at the gates. The gates is the community, so he is very known, like a lawyer, doctor type situation. She then goes and takes care of her own business. She's an entrepreneur. Then she goes grocery shopping and she goes working out. She works out, taking care of her loins is what it's called. Loins is simply mean her muscles, her arms, however you want to see that. Then she comes back, goes from the grocery shopping and all of her business, and comes back, gets to home before the kids, takes care of the kids, takes care of the husband, goes and kisses the husband, sends him off to bed, sends the kids off to bed, and she stays up until the late night with candles, and we have electricity today. But candles representing that this woman is a grinder. She gets up early, she goes to bed late, she grinds her way all the way through this whole process, and in this process she is considered a virtuous woman because it says that her husband and her children call her blessed. And when they call her blessed, that is the reason why they call her blessed. It's not necessarily she's a servant to her kids and husband. The guy is not a dictator. And guys, we're going to talk about this one real soon, real fast. And I'm rushing because I'm here at the appointment. We're going to talk about this real soon. Guys, the reason we have this woman movement is because of guys who thought they were supposed to be the head, the dictating type guy who's supposed to tell the woman and the woman's supposed to serve them. That's a bunch of crap, okay? We're going to talk about that, like I just said. The type of man that these women, the virtuous woman, is looking for is a man who is a partner who works with her. What happens if she gets in a car accident and she gets paralyzed? Does she have the security that you're going to feed her, cook for her, clean for her? No. If not, what the hell? Anyway, we're going to get into that later. Trophy girl, virtuous woman, understand the two. Read the story. When you read the story, break it down, and then you guys will understand the two types. When we get together, we'll talk about more in detail of everything I just talked about. So let me go because I got to get into this meeting again. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I'm happy to talk to you guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do not hesitate and giving me a call. I'm here for you to help you, guide you, do your thing, make you happy, not make you happy, but guide you to happiness. Let's say that, and go from there. Guys, gotta go. Love you. Bye.